Yep. All the... Welcome, fellow trackers. This is me. I'm not there. Just so if you're listening, if you're watching live, I don't know where I am, but there we go. Now I'm back. Okay. Fellow trackers, I'm Nick Metzger, and my partner, co-host in crime, best dude ever, is Mr. Sean Abbott. He's right above me. If you're watching, if you're listening, he's just here. There you go. We're so happy to be here this week. We're going to be chatting about stuff, about Starfield, because Starfield Shattered Space is out. We have games that dropped, so that's awesome. So we'll give you the heads up on that fun stuff. Normally that happens after we podcast, so that was nice of Xbox to kind of mesh that up for us. And Tango Gameworks stuff, and we're definitely going to talk about Zelda, because, you know, that's just who we are, and a little game called Balatro that I'm addicted to. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we get into all that fun stuff, Sean, man, how's life been going?
Hi, my name's Sean, and I'm also addicted to Balatro.
Balatro.
Whatever it is, I'm addicted. I can't stop playing. Well, between that and Zelda, I can't stop playing them. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, life's good. I'm back to work tomorrow night, which is nice.
Good for you.
Well, I say it's nice. I have personal issues around that. I know I'm going to need surgery on my knee, but there is nothing really stopping me from being off, because they've offered me conditions that I can be in the control room and stuff. I can work in the control room, so there's no need for me to be off. But I know I'm going to need surgery, which means I am going to have to be off again. So it's one of them things where I could have just prolonged it, but I haven't heard anything about the surgery, so I can't kind of turn around and say. But yeah, I have that coming up. I've been back in the gym, which is nice. I had like a week and a half off, nearly 2 weeks off from being in the gym. So anybody that's listened to us for a long period of time knows that that is where I go to help my mental self, as well as keep me physically apt and able. So I'm back in there now with one of the dads from the school run, Joe, which is really cool. We've changed. We were doing a 5x5 program, so we've kind of changed everything now. So because we're targeting all upper body, things have kind of changed, and it's hurting. So, which is nice, because it means it's working.
Right. But, yeah.
And we had Jaya came back and visited. Jaya came back at the weekend, and she visited for the night.
That's cool.
She came for one night only, which was nice. She went to the theatre with my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law and Emily. They all went together to see something called And Juliet. So I haven't a clue what it was about, because I asked Emily if it was good and if she enjoyed it and what it was about. Her only reply was the typical teenager thing of, yeah, it was good. So, yeah, like pulling teeth, because I have no hair to pull. But yeah, everything's good. Yeah, I mean,
good deal.
How about you? How's everything going for you?
Going good. Busy. Definitely busy, but life's good. Tomorrow's my anniversary, Sean. So we are gonna go out and celebrate the anniversary.
What have you got planned? Because the last time we spoke about this, you were like, you never put yourself in some hot water, if I remember.
No, I told Becca. No, there's no hot water. Okay. I told her. I was like, man, I mean, I know when my anniversary is. It's spatially on the calendar. I was like, I got a lot of weeks, and then we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing next week. It's it's already October 2nd next week. Oh wow! For some reason, like if you'd have just asked me out of the blue, I'd have been like, I don't know. It's like 3 weeks away, I think. And I was like, no, it's not. So no hot water for me.
A really good reason why you should check in with your friends on a regular basis, because you help them in periods like this.
That's right.
It was great. You were like, I don't know what I'm doing next week. It's my anniversary. And I was like, have you got anything planned? I was like, oh no. I was like, I literally thought I had like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's like, no, you have 7 days.
So I scrambled. Well, I didn't really scramble, but I called my mom and I was like, hey, you watch the kids? That'd be great. I'll drop them off to you. Actually, my in-laws. I was like, you watch the kids? That'd be great. And they were like, sure. And so I just told Beck, I was like, hey, what do you want to go out to eat? And so we're going to go out to eat. And that'll probably be it. I did love, because I was like, I hadn't really got her anything yet. And I was like, and she was like, hey, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have anything for you. And I was like, well, I don't really have anything for you either. She's like, all right, let's just be good with that and go out to eat and have a good night. And I was like, okay, sounds great.
See, it's good company to go and have good company and good food is always a good gift. That's what we did this year. It was great. Didn't really get stuff for each other because we were going away the month after, so we kind of did the same. We just went. We had good food. We had a good night, and yeah, it was nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's the whole plan. That is it. That's what we're gonna do.
What are you going for food? Because this is always a choice. Because I'll only ask this question in like off the air, so I might as well ask you now because we always circle around to food. Where are you going for food?
So Sean, I will ask where she wants to go tonight, probably because I don't know, and she will tell me she's gonna think about it, and she will think about it probably until we get like literally I could ask this question a week in advance and she would be like, I'm still thinking about it. And then like all of a sudden we're literally this happened once. We're driving and she's like, well, just go to Kalamazoo because that's like the city we're at. And she's like, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like driving on like going to Kalamazoo on like the main highway. And she's like, well, I can't remember what she said, but she was like, well, let's go there. And I was like, well, we just passed. She was like, well, why didn't you say before that? I was like, I gave you a week. I've asked you like 5 times. I've asked you so many times. You got pissed that I asked you so many times. I was like, and now you're mad at me. What
you should try is you should try like the husband experiment. So you should say to her this evening, so hey, I've booked somewhere for us to go to eat, and she'll go like, oh, where? And you're gonna have to guess. You're gonna have to like somewhere I think you really like to go, but you're gonna have to guess. You're gonna have to ask me questions, and you'll eventually get it. And she'll start blurting maybe restaurant names, and you'll be like, just write these down.
Okay, that's not a bad. Yeah, that's I don't know. I could try that because I thought you were going to say just like book some place for her to go, because usually what happens is I'm like, hey, you want to go here? No, I don't want to go there. Oh, okay. Well, where do you want to go? I don't really know. Well, I don't really know either. Well, why do I always have to pick? What do you mean? I just gave you a place and you said no. Like, I don't understand.
The thing is that you are preaching to the absolute choir, and anybody who's listening who is a husband or a boyfriend or a fiance, or even the opposite way around, who is a wife and stuff like that, who listens, you will know exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, I do the same. Like I'll say to Lindsay, like, oh, what do you want to eat tonight? If like we're going to have a takeout or something like that, and she'll go, oh, I don't know, you pick. I'm like, okay, cool, let's have pizza. No, I don't want pizza. Yeah. Right, okay. How about burgers? Should we get burgers? I don't really fancy burgers. And it's like, well, why don't you pick? No, you pick. I was like, well, I've just given you the 2 options that I want, and you didn't want either. So, let's go.
I know, it's so great. And it's just like, so yeah, the food thing is always a bit of a sticky subject. So I'll ask her where she wants to go and see if she's got. Now there is like an Indian restaurant. If that's open in town, it'll be an easy deal. Or there's an Indian restaurant that's going to open, and we've both said that we are interested in trying it. So if they're open, I meant to look today to see if they have opened yet. But if they're open, then that'll be easy. We'll go there. But
cool.
But if not, it'll be a thing of like, where do we go to eat? Where do we go?
It's nice to know that you'll be having the same argument or debate conversation that me and Lindsay have on a regular basis.
There you go. Yeah, I'm in good company, so I can appreciate that. So that's good.
Anyways, before we move into the meat, speaking of food, of the show, I'll just go through the housekeeping things very, very quickly. You can find us on pretty much every social networking app that is out there. Everything is at VGT Gaming News. If you have any thoughts, any questions, and we do have a public Discord. I do believe I have to address the links, because last time I tried these links, which was like about a day ago, it told me they had expired. But there is one out there. If you want to get hold of it, shoot us a DM. If you follow us, if you're watching us live, you're definitely following us. So shoot us a DM. Leave us a message somewhere and we will get that to you. I will try and update these links as soon as possible with ones that are going to work consistently, because as things change, as we go through a rebrand, things are going to change. But in there, you'll find me, you'll find Nick, you'll find all the other VGT members that are there, along with 2,000 members who are all chatting about Zelda. At least I was chatting about Zelda in there today. So yeah, heads up. If you like what you're hearing, we'd love for you to leave some kind of feedback and a review on your podcast app of choice. It really does help us grow. It kind of gets us more notice and moves us up the rankings so then we can reach more people. And we wouldn't be a Game Pass show if we weren't supporting Game Pass itself. So if you love Game Pass, you love our show, and you want to show the support, we do have a link in the description. If you follow that link to the Xbox.com website and sign up using that link, we do have an affiliation with them, and we will get some of the lovely pennies that you spend on your Game Pass subscription every month, which helps us grow, helps us do more things, and helps us have some really nice giveaways, which I believe we do have some coming up soon, once the rebrand is complete. So if you sign up to whatever level you desire, be that core, standard, PC Game Pass, or Game Pass Ultimate, and as we get to the games that have come out this week and coming out next week, we have changed things up because we are now starting to list what games are covered under which service you subscribe to. You can do that by using the code in the chat or the show notes, and will help us to continue creating awesome content for you guys, our amazing fans. So now I managed to get through that without tripping up over myself and adding stuff that's not on the script. We shall move into the X feed.
The X feed, where we chat about top stories that are out. We have 3 of them, 3 top stories. The first is Starfield Shattered Space DLC. Shatfield Darted Space DLC. Anyways, I'm sorry. Starfield Shattered Space DLC launches to 0 reviews across Xbox and PC. So...
yeah, I'm assuming that they released to 0 reviews because I don't think they handed this out as an early access to anybody. I don't even think there was like a review code given out for this DLC for people to try it and test it and give initial feedback.
Yeah, which is somewhat interesting. Is there? But I don't know. Some DLC gets review codes, but not all of it does. But I guess this is a larger one, so you would have thought it would have come out too. It would have come out so that people could have. But maybe Xbox is just sick and tired of reviews that don't go their way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of them things. Like, as Bethesda held its cards close to its chest because there's such a high modding community out there, they didn't want it falling into the hands of somebody. You know, all this leaked stuff that goes out and about, and people start chucking mods at it straight away, and you know, breaking embargoes, or because they've had a leak, you know, people are releasing content before genuine content creators have had chance to you know, keep to their embargoes and stuff like that, and it kind of spoiling the release.
Sure. So, I mean, so when I go on to OpenCritic, we got Xbox Era out there with a 9 out of 10. That's the only review that I currently see. And they talk about it being a solid game, 10-hour adventure. Anybody who loved the base game would love this game, is what I hear. So, or is what I read. So there you go. You got their review out there.
Yeah, and it has been well received. So there's, you know, people out there that have got hold of it and have played it, that have then started to kind of talk about it on social media and stuff like that, are saying that it's something you need to go and play if you were a big fan of the base game, to get your hands on the DLC, because it just further expands an amazing game that's already there. I haven't yet got to it. I've been far too engrossed in something else, which we'll talk about as we get into the dashboard later, but it's next on my list. Like I said, with surgery potentially been on the cards for me, Starfield is kind of like sat there as my recovery game. The game I'm going to play as I recover. Like last time I had knee surgery, I think the game I played while I recovered was Little Big Planet on the PlayStation, because I owned a PlayStation at the time, the last time I had knee surgery. So like I played Little Big Planet to absolute death, like over a 4-week period. So I'll do the same with Starfield. Once I don't want to start it now because I know I can't give it all the time it deserves because I'm going back to work.
Mm-hmm.
But once I had the surgery and I know I'm kind of I have to sit still for most of the day, I could give all my time and attention to a game that duly does deserve all the time and attention it gets. It's one of the reasons that I haven't played it so heavily, is because I just cannot give such a massive open world game of this kind of magnitude that has the depth of gameplay that this has, the time and effort that it needs. So
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna get to this DLC. I feel like I would need to. Hey, what's up, Rex? I feel like I would need to. I feel like
every week.
That's his podcast toy. That's what that is. He's like, what is it?
So it's a pink dinosaur.
Okay, it's a pink dinosaur.
Every time Lindsay buys him a toy, my first question is, does it squeak? She's like, yeah, it does. I'm like, fuck you,
sucker.
Hey, come here. Thanks. Leave. Yep.
We'll tag this one under Doggy Toy ASMR. I mean, it'll be a whole new genre. Nobody's tapping into that.
I've given him a toy that he now can't squeak. But now, as you can hear, he's growling at me because he wants to play tug of war.
Now he's unhappy.
He's not unhappy. He's just, oh my god, where did you pull that from? Me strength.
Every day there's a Rex segment on, or not every day. Every podcast there's a Rex segment. So it came early this podcast, which is this episode. So there you go.
What? Well, we were chatting before we went live, and we were covering a couple of things, and just generally, not a single peep. He was asleep. He was snoring. I sent you a picture of him, and his face was all his nose was all squished like this because he was pushed up against his bed.
That's true. Sean and I have been on the call for an hour before this, so yeah, that is pretty hilarious. Now that you bring that up. So yeah, I don't know that I'll get to it, but I think it's great. It's out there. First real big DLC. People, Xbox area thinks it's great, and Xbox has dropped a new Starfield dynamic background. So there you go.
Which looks really nice, by the way. I still can't bring myself to change my background from the one that I made during sessions, Skate Simulator, because it took me freaking ages to get that trick down, and I kind of took a picture of it. So that's how it lives. But it was one of those that was almost close.
Sure. Sure. I need to get a Star Wars background from Outlaws on there. That's what I need to do. Yeah, if I went back to anything, I'd go back to Outlaws. Sorry, I know it's probably sacrilege, but it's true. Yeah, you said you hit a real wall with Star Wars.
Yeah, that's my issues. I like I said, I hit a wall with it. I would like to go back to it, but it's like when I played Far Cry. I get to a point and I'm like, oh, I'm so stuck, and then it just kind of something else comes up like Zelda, and I'm like, oh, I'll go back to it once I get there, and then something else will pop up, and then something else will pop up, and I'm like, oh, maybe not. So
yeah, so it's out there, guys. You should play it because there's a good review for it, I guess. I don't know. Play it if you want to. Story number 2. New Tango Gameworks Publisher praises Xbox boss, reveals more on Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, so as everybody knows, Tango Gameworks got bought out by Krafton, which is a South Korean publisher. And the head of corporate development, Maria Park, has been speaking quite happily about how Xbox works and how it's been working, and especially mentioning Phil Spencer. She says, she's touched on a number of topics during the interview that she had about how incredibly accommodating, which I'm not surprised because Hi-Fi Rush was such an amazing game and got so many accolades at the Game Awards, that they are going to be very accommodating because they want to keep this IP firmly on Game Pass, and especially if they're working on a Hi-Fi Rush 2, they're going to want that IP coming there as well. So she goes and says, also the opportunity to take over the IP from Microsoft is very unusual for them to sell the IP, even in case of a studio shutdown. We spoke with Phil Spencer directly, and we have their direct support, and he has been incredibly accommodating to the needs of the Tango team. So,
yeah, I also thought it was interesting in the next little bit after that, she talks about we'll continue to working on Hi-Fi Rush for sure. Like I said, we won't really rush to the market just to deliver a sequel. We want to make sure that the sequel is actually at a quality level that surpasses the community's expectations. So I think that's great. That's good attitude. That means I was kind of worried they would just push this one out the door and so that they could get onto something else, make some money off of their acquisition, kind of show that it was worth their investment. But I'm glad to see that that's not their mindset.
Yep. I'm glad as well, and I'm glad they're working on a Hi-Fi Rush2 because the game was great. It obviously claimed lots of accolades during the Game Awards for music, for accessibility, as well as being a rhythmic style game to play. So it gained a lot of accolades. It was a good game to play. So I'm glad that they're making a second one, but also taking the time to make sure it's up to par with the first one. So not just rushing it out to try and make money off the back of it being as well decorated as it was.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that is our second story. Our third story, Xbox wants more feedback from devs, including why some are avoiding the platform.
Yeah, so we've seen a couple of stories over this year about developers that have kind of not been happy with how Game Pass operates or how Xbox operates in terms of its subscription service, and that they've kind of skipped Xbox completely with certain titles as well as the Game Pass subscription service. So, who was it now? Oh, yeah, this somewhere. I can't remember who it was. It was a spokesperson for that. But anyway, the company has expanded into Xbox Research Innovative, which aims to listen to developers to gain their feedback about how future tools and services could be improved for them, and how basically how they could be more open to help and support, as well as ensuring that the bottom dollar, because a lot of developers are going to want to be like, I want to make some money out of this game that I've made, and giving it to you means that I'm not going to make as much money as selling it on the open market. So, how does that work? But the objective is to listen to developer partners in the Xbox ecosystem and partner with product teams to bring forward insights and data that could help improve future tools and services. By directly engaging with the game's creators, Xbox aims to get the data that will help address pain points and enhance the experience of partners across the spectrum of disciplines. Xbox's new research initiative is an attempt to a forward-thinking approach to support game creators by turning their attention to the people behind the games. The research team aims to foster an environment where developers of all sizes and backgrounds can thrive, ultimately leading to better experiences for players worldwide. I think it's a great idea. I think if they can do that, if they can go away and kind of like change the ecosystem, because this is something that's always interesting to us, and we say this every time we talk about how Xbox operates and Game Pass operates, and how what are the deals that they strike, is if they can go away and kind of research what's happened in the past and change what's going to happen in the future, it means one thing and one thing only for us really as gamers, that we are going to get more titles and more engaging titles to Game Pass in the future, rather than seeing games like Stray, which I'm still yet to try and play, which could have come and should have come to Game Pass, skipping the subscription service altogether and going to PlayStation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll be interested to see the data they get from developers. I mean, we know that PlayStation's outselling Xbox a lot. I heard on one podcast 5-1. I haven't read the actual numbers to know if that's true. But if that is even close to accurate, then it's like, well, if you put your game on 3 platforms, well, let's just take out Nintendo. If you put your game on both platforms, then is that game, are you getting the same deal on both platforms? Or if you only put it on one and you're exclusive to like PlayStation, who now has many more consoles than Xbox, is that the better way to go because you're getting an exclusivity deal plus you have more consoles in the market to sell it to? Are they going to find out that Xbox is only kosher when there's Game Pass money to back it up now? I don't know.
I mean, if I was a developer and I was making a game, given how the current market operates, because everything's going subscription. Like we saw, the movie industry has gone towards like subscription based stuff. Apart from obviously you pay to go watch a movie in the cinema, but then it doesn't take very long for that movie then to come to like Inside Out 2. It was maybe out for 4 months at the cinema. 4 months later, it's on Disney Plus. We watched it the other night on Disney Plus. Deadpool and Wolverine's coming to Disney Plus on the 7th of October. It wasn't long before, like June, July time, where me, Lindsay, my mate Gareth, and Jaya all went to the cinema to watch it together. So that time span between a movie coming out of the cinema and it coming to a subscription service is getting shorter and shorter. So if I was making a game and I wanted to try and make as much money out of it as possible, I wouldn't opt for a subscription service straight away. I would take my bets in the open market and sell the game digitally and physically. Obviously, physical media is slowly diminishing. As much as we try to fight it, it is slowly diminishing. But I would take my best bet out in the open market for a while, give it 6 months, see how much money I can make on that game in terms of hard sales, and then I would start to look at subscription and be like, who is going to give me the better deal? You would have some data because you'd be able to say, well, we made this much money on sales from initial, so we would do this well on your subscription service. So, what kind of deal can you offer us? And I think a lot of developers and publishers should start to go down that trend rather than trying to go straight for the subscription service trend. As much as I, hand on heart, love Game Pass as a subscription service, I would rather be seeing developers and publishers make as much money as possible and get the best deal possible for the games that they're making, because it's only going to allow them to make better games in the future and stop these closures and job cuts that we're seeing quite regularly, because a lot of that is down to not making the money that they should be making and not getting the deals that they should be getting in the market. So.
Yeah, I think it's so in my opinion, if you got the marketing chops and you have a good game to back it up, then yeah, I don't see why you go to subscription services first. If you don't have the marketing chops or you're not sure in your game quality, then that's when you go to the subscription services first, right? You're going to get some of your money back immediately.
Yeah.
But if if the game is good, but you don't have the marketing chops, maybe you go to subscription services for a little bit, like 3 months or something, and then you come off because now you've gained marketing because of the subscription service, and then you can start selling the game somewhere else. Especially I'm trying to think of the game. I can't think of at the moment what one immediately, but
for me, Tunic.
Yes, Tunic's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Of that game that was on Xbox but not on Nintendo, and they got the marketing off of Xbox and the bump of Game Pass cash, and then they went to this whole other platform has way more of an install base than Xbox has, and then they marketed it there off of the back of Game Pass, and that's exactly of another way you can use Game Pass as a developer. Sorry, go ahead.
Ninja did that absolutely perfect.
They did,
because that game was so. When we first talked about it, we didn't expect the game to be like it was.
Right.
And then it came out and it was so engaging. The soundtrack was fantastic. You could see there was a lot of development and care and love given to the game. Just for me, purely on the soundtrack choice, they worked really hard on that. But the way the game played and made you do different things was fantastic. And they did a really good thing of bringing that to subscription first, because it was such an off-the-cuff, weird genre to play that it needed that support from the subscription service. Now, if Ninja was to go away and make a Tunic 2, I wouldn't bring Tunic 2 to a Game Pass subscription service like this. I wouldn't. I'd go straight out into the open market, because people are like, this game was freaking awesome on Game Pass. And then people on Switch are going to be like, oh, there's a Tunic 2 coming? I'm going to buy that because I had so much fun with Tunic. And the reason why they had so much fun with Tunic is they were watching everybody on Game Pass play, because it came there first before anywhere else. So yeah, that's the perfect way around to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
They had that initial engagement with a subscription service, which then allowed them to make decent sales further on. Now, Rockstar is going to bring Grand Theft Auto 6 out. I can't ever, for the life of me, imagine that GTA 6 is ever going to come to Game Pass at the same time as the game dropping. Rockstar are going to drop that game into the open market, let tons of people purchase it, sit there for 4 years, pulling as much money out of it as possible as they can, and then could be like, hey, we put GTA 5 on Game Pass for a bit, and it did really well because people played the game for free, but then they purchased all the shat cards online, so let's do that again because, it made loads of money doing that. Let's go and do that. So it all depends on the game style, and if you already have a footing in the industry, like Rockstar does with GTA. I mean, we're using Tiny Little Tunic and Ninja with Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto, two completely different game styles and two completely different sizes of publishers and developers. But
yeah, and Finji knew that they didn't have the marketing chops. And what I mean by that isn't that the person that's marketing isn't good, but they just didn't have the reach as where they were at the moment to be able to market this game, but they did have the quality game. And so it was like, okay, put it on Game Pass, get the marketing buzz, then take it other places. Whereas Rockstar has the quality game, has the marketing chops. It makes a buzz just by saying, Grand Theft Auto 6. And so, yeah, they're gonna do exactly what you said. And then Rockstar's MO is the same as it's been with Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption Online. And now I'm sure with Grand Theft Auto, they'll do the same thing. They'll put it on there for 3 months, give people taste that didn't taste it, whatever few people that are, and then yank it off and then make you pay after you're addicted. Good drug dealer.
You give the free taste and then
that's right.
Reel in.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see what Xbox gets out of info for this. But I don't know what they're going to be able to. I don't know what they're going to. I'll be interested to see what changes they make. Let me just say that.
Yeah, it's just interesting that after years of having a Game Pass subscription service, and obviously as it's grown and developed more and we're getting more of these day and date games, it's interesting that they have now turned around and gone, okay, we need to better understand this because we have a great thing here with a lot of power and a lot of weight. Let's understand it so we can, not only can we make as much money out of it as possible, because ultimately that's going to be one of their goals, but at the same time, how can we help? Looking at all these developers and publishers that are folding and cutting jobs, how can we help them? How can we give them the support that they need to help them make more games or continue to make the games that they're making, like Hi-Fi Rush and Hi-Fi Rush 2 that's in development? How can we help them as much as possible to deliver and continue to service our subscription, our subscribers, as well as cream as much off the top as we possibly can.
Sure. Yeah. And so, I mean, I hope they come up with something super innovative, right? Because, I mean, I think they know this. I think they know this already, this problem, and they might want verification from these devs. But more than anything, like, they got a bunch of smart people working over there, so I really hope that when they verify this data, they come up with what I'm pretty sure they're going to come up with, that they're able to find some type of, maybe not solution, but some type of thing that they can do that is innovative and different and makes a bridge between the Game Pass and the open market, and I don't know, some crazy hybrid or something like that. Like, how cool would that be? So.
We'll apart from, I don't want another subscription service because that just makes everything completely confusing. Don't give me another tier to what I already have. Just make it work. Take the outside stuff and make it work what you've already got.
Yeah, no, I totally, I agree. Like I guess if I'm just like off the cuff trying to figure out, like, you buy the game and you get, so normally you get a discount on the game, right? So like, what am I trying to say?
If it comes to Game Pass and you then want to purchase the game, you get 20% off.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, and that's a good deal if you want to purchase it, but like, that's a decent carrot, but like, is there a better carrot? Is there a carrot in reverse of like, hey, you bought a Game Pass game? Maybe there's a discount on your Game Pass sub for like two months or something like that. I don't know what that carrot looks like that works for everybody, but I think there could be something there.
like maybe a 3-month window. Hey, this game is on Game Pass and you've just purchased it. So, congratulations as a thank you for being a supporter of a developer that came to Game Pass as a subscription service. We're giving you 1 free month of Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's you buy a game and then save $20 because you want a free month of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, that very well could be what they need to do. And sorry for the robotiness there. I don't know what happened to my computer, but I think Sean's back now. So,
hi.
Yeah, you got robot-y for a second. I'm not sure what happened. It's not you. I think it was me. But anyway,
I think checking on my lights and they're all green.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what they get out of this, and more importantly, what kind of changes they make to help devs and maybe even help us. We don't have any news bulletins this week. That's the end of our top stories. We don't have any new game announcements. Not new game announcements, but there's new Game Pass games. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And our feature story. Actually, you know what? We don't really have a feature story either. Let's just be honest. What we got is the dashboard, and in the dashboard, Sean and I have both been playing Balatro. So we'll start with Balatro. We've been playing 2 games together. Balatro is a card game mixed, or like it's a card game that's like a poker game and solitaire somehow mixed together.
I tried to explain this game every single way I could to Lindsay. I was laid on the bed. She was like, she'd come home from work and she'd like kind of chilled out and stuff for a while. So like I'd given the whole, if anybody's watched Bluey and they've watched that episode where Mum's overwhelmed, it's like Lindsay comes in, she's like, you can see it in her face. She's like, I've been dealing with children all day. I do not want to deal with them anymore. So like I'll take over and stuff, and she goes and kind of relaxes for a little bit. And then I'll slowly work my way to going upstairs and kind of being like, can I approach now? Can I talk to you? So like laid and talked for a little bit, and then like I laid there and I started playing Balatro, and she's like, "What are you playing on your phone?" I was like, I'm playing this game. It's like poker meets something meets a roguelite. And she's like, "What's a roguelite?" So I had to explain what a roguelite was. And she was like, "I really don't care for that." I said, "No, neither do I, but I can't stop playing it."
And it's Nick's fault, and I hate him for it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you sold this game to me last week as you can play it.
I did have
like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I played a couple of hands. I was like, I can kind of understand what Nick means, because like I was struggling to get past the boss blind because I didn't have a concept of like how the jokers, the tarots, the planet cards, and how you kind of built everything up. And then once I got a grip of that, I went for a run that was 35 minutes long. 35 minutes, and that was one of those 35 minutes where I thought I'll just open this game and play it while I'm sat on the john. And by the time I finished, I couldn't feel my feet.
So you look down and you're like, why are my feet blue? That's unfortunate.
But no, you described this perfectly. It's a mixture between,
except for that part, but
it's a mixture between poker and solitaire. It's a roguelite. There's lots of moving pieces to this game that you kind of have to take
lots of power-ups too. Like the whole premise is built on these like Joker planet tarot card power-ups. Like if you don't master that, then you're, like Sean said, you're never gonna make it past the first like ante. And so like an ante's pretty much like a world, and the rounds are like the levels inside of a world. Kind of is the best way I can describe it.
That is better than what I would try and explain it. Yes, that is perfect. And you've got to get to 8. Is it 8 antes?
8 antes, and there's 3 rounds in each ante, and so you got to make it through 24. And each one gets a little bit harder. The end one is usually 100,000 chips that you got to try to get. And so like a 2 pair might be worth like 40 chips, but then if you get the right jokers, all of a sudden that 2 pair is now worth like 15,000 because you've added all these chips and these multipliers and blah blah blah, and then by the time it's all over, it's like, oh wow, look at the score. And I really do. I live and die on the 2 pair strategy, Sean. That's how I've beat 2 decks, and that's how I've won.
I'm the free of a kind strategy.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So it's just winding this back, because people are now going to be like, you're just throwing poker hands around. So
that's true.
The premise is that you need to be able to play a 5-card hand, and it doesn't have to be a 5-card hand unless you have to go against a sidekick or boss blind. But we'll talk about those in a little bit. So it's a 5 card hand, like you would do in a normal Texas Hold'em style game, 5 card hand. You can play that as 2 pairs and a single card. You can play it as a pair and 3 random cards. You can play it as a high card if you want. So all the hands in poker kind of sit there, and you can get flushes, straights, full house, the works, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, everything. They all give you different levels of chips. So each one gives you, like Nick says, a pair might give you 10 chips, and then every single card, including face cards, give you a number of chips. So aces give you 11, face cards, king, queens, jacks give you 10, and then obviously the numeric denominations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, all the way through give you that many chips. A pair will give you a ×2 multiplier, I believe. So, you start with a 10 times 2 is 20 chips, plus what your cards kind of equal to in that pair gives you that amount of chips. And you need to make a certain amount of chips per round to beat the blind. So you start on a small blind. The first one you come up against is 300 chips. Easy to do in 2 hands if you've got the right cards. And now you can discard cards. So you get a certain amount of discards and a certain amount of hands to play each round. You have, and it's one of those where you kind of have to have a bit of balls. You turn up and you've got a shit hand, basically. And it's like, right, okay, I'm going to discard 5 cards off the back. Select 5 cards, discard, and hope you get a decent deal. And it works like that. You do a small blind, a big blind, which tends to be a double of the small blind, and then you have a boss blind. And the boss blind can be a multitude of things. You can have the psychic, which is what we just talked about, where you have to play 5 cards for you to score that round. If you don't, then you don't score anything, which I sometimes forget when I'm against the psychic and fuck up massively. There's ones where like heart cards are debuffed, spade cards are debuffed. They're all called something different, but they all have different properties each time you play. So make sure when you get to the boss blind section, which is like the 3rd round of each ante, you're paying very close attention to what that kind of boss blind has as a setup kind of thing. And then you start to then you get the jokers, and the jokers are kind of like the buffs, aren't they?
Yeah.
If I get that right. So you might get a joker that if you get over 3 of a kind, it'll give you a +10 multiplier, +50 chips. So you take your hand, it'll play all that, and if you've got a 3 of a kind in there, it'll give you a +10 multiplier, +50 chips. So you start to pick and choose your jokers really wisely, like to what plays you. So I'm assuming that you will, if you get the joker that buffs the 2 with a 2 pair or pairs, because even that one works because you've got 2 pairs, so have the one that buffs the pairs, you'll get a double buff kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. So there's one that if you get a 2 pair, it adds 4 chips every time you play 2 pair. So it continually like multiplies on top of each other. So where if you've played 4 pair in one run, then all of a sudden you're getting 12 chips, and that'll just keep going. I got to a point to where I was getting like 156 chips off of playing 2 pair. And then there's another one where if you lay a pair, you multiply ×1, and that stacks. So those are the 2. If I can get those 2 jokers in the very beginning and just hang on to them the entire round, like I was multiplying by like 67. And I was multiplying by 67 and adding 156 chips every time I played a 2 pair. Plus, on top of that, I had leveled up my 2 pair hand to level 10. So, like, a 2 pair was worth sometimes 45,000 points for me, 45,000 chips. And so it was like, and then you have 3 other jokers that I would do other things with as well. So I always try to hang on to the like save yourself card. The one that's like 25% of your chips, and as long as you get 25%, you still get to move on. I try to hang on to that one to save me because it never fails. I was playing a different way. I was doing really good. It was this thing where every face card, I had a joker where every face card was worth, I think it was like 25 chips or something that you played. And I also got a card that said no matter what, or a joker. I also got a joker that said no matter what the card is, it's considered a face card.
Oh, that is a good one.
So I thought,
that's
sweet.
10...
Yeah, I was getting 125 chips every time I played 5 cards. no matter what it was. So it was great. I was doing so good. And then I hit a dang boss blind, Sean, that said all face cards are drawn face down. And that was it. I was just like, I was like, I should have just gotten rid of those 2 jokers and redid my hand, but it blew me away, and I was trying to win off of just like picking blind cards, and I lost. And so yeah, there's a lot of curveballs in this game, but it's fun.
Yep. And then there's the tarot cards, and the tarot cards are there to kind of, sometimes they'll buff your jokers up, and sometimes they'll buff your normal cards up. So you can change your cards into stone cards, glass cards, diamond cards, gold cards. You can stack chips and have them give you extra multipliers, so they become multi-cards and stuff like that. That's what your tarot cards do. And then you have your planet cards, and your planet cards is what ups the level on your hands. So like like Uranus does the 3 of a kind, I think.
No, 2 pair.
2 pair.
I know, trust me.
I didn't know which one it was, but I'm glad you can correct me. So yeah, Uranus will level up your 2 pair hand. So the one I got was I got a tarot card, which if you did at the end of each round would level up or would repeat the cards that you then played previous. And I kind of had it so at the end of every round, as long as I played 2 pair, it would give me 2 planet cards, which would level up my 2 pair every single time.
Oh man, there's so many ways to game the system to help you win. It's really good. Like there's a million ways to make it work. There's also a million ways that it goes wrong. But it is fun.
It's not an easy game.
No.
And we've described it to make it not sound easy, but when you first get it, you think, oh, this is going to be easy. It's like, I play a couple of poker hands, I'd make some chips, I beat the levels, and then all of a sudden you realize that the blinds get bigger and bigger very, very quickly, and your cards, obviously, if you don't work the system out, don't make anywhere near enough after like even the 3rd ante. You will not be making enough. So it takes some time to learn. I haven't beaten it yet. You've beaten it twice.
Yeah, I beat the red and the blue deck so far. But I do find it interesting. I have to really catch myself, because I'll be getting like 3,000-4,000 points. I'll get like a couple of good jokers, and so I'll be getting 3,000-4,000 points a hand, and I'll be thinking, oh man, I got this. I'm golden. But then you're right. You get to like 4 or 5 ante, and then all of a sudden that 3,000-4,000 points, that doesn't do as much anymore. And it's like, shoot, I didn't build on my jokers when I should have been. I was super happy with my 3,000-4,000 points, and now it's not getting me what I need. By points, I mean chips, by the way. Sorry. Now it's not getting me what I need because I didn't spend the time to build on those jokers when I should have. I was just sat on my laurels, happy with because it was just making me win really easy in the beginning. Yeah. And so, there's a lot to it. And this game, we know if you're like, I've played this game like a million times. We're talking about it now because this game has been out for quite a while, but it's now new to Apple Arcade and iOS and all that. And so that's how Sean and I got onto it. I heard GameScoop actually is what it was. GameScoop has been chatting about it for a good long time, but I had never played it until it came on Apple Arcade just recently.
No. And it is good. There's not much of a tutorial to it, so it just kind of leave you to your own devices to try and figure it out. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite roguelike I've ever played. I will say that. I think that's accurate.
I can raise my hand and claim that accolade as well. Yeah. It's what I play when I'm waiting to do nothing. Right. Basically, if the kids if Logan's in the bath and I know he's going to be in the bath for 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to play Balatro. Mm-hmm. If I'm laid on the bed and Lindsay's reading and I'm like, I don't really want to read because I'm doing a lot of reading at the moment. I'm working my way through the Jack Reacher series written by a child at the moment. It's costing me an arm and a leg. I'm $6 in. At £10 a book still.
Yeah.
God
wow.
Damn it. So if anybody has what's the next one? I can't remember the next one. The one after the Echo Burning. If you have that, please send it to me because I don't want to spend $10.99.
Why aren't you going to the library for these things? They're not at the library?
My local library doesn't have them in. I try for every book I get round, but they don't have a great selection. It's only a small library. But Selby Library is great. If you ever listen to this podcast, which I don't think you are, I'm not belating you at all. You're a fantastic library. You've served me well over the years. You just don't have enough Fleet Child. So if I'm laying on the bed, I'm like, I don't want to read because I'm getting through the book too quickly to justify buying the next one. I'll play Balatro kind of thing. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it, so it's really cool. Now that's the game that I haven't beat it because there's other decks for me to get through, but that I've beaten a couple decks that you haven't. What's the game that you've beat that I have not?
I'm saddened to say this because we wait so long for a Zelda game to come out, and there's all the hype leading up to it, and there's the excitement, and the game comes out, and it's like, oh, there's all this, and it's fantastic. I mean, at first, I was with Jesse from the Nintendo Dads. He was like, I want to play this game because it's a Zelda game, but this game's making me feel like an idiot. Because there was, especially today, there was a section in the dungeon, and I was like, I don't know how the freaking hell I can get past this. And there's a side quest that I need to do, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I haven't got that echo. I don't know where to find it. Because I haven't got them all yet. But I have beaten Echoes of Wisdom, the new Zelda game. I've rolled the credits. I'd say I'm 3 hearts away from all the hearts. I'm about 12 power crystals from all the upgrading all of those. I've done all the Great Fairy quests. I've done all the smoothie quests. I've done all the side quests I can possibly do that haven't meant I have to have all the echoes. I'm about 5 or 6 echoes short, which means I'm just wandering around until I see something that I can learn. I've enjoyed this game. There is stuff in it that makes that if you can find certain echoes early on in the game that make traversing the environment so much easier. Yeah, it's definitely aimed at the younger gamers. So I'd say Emily would probably find this challenging. Sure. But the final boss I beat within 3 minutes.
Okay. All right.
And that's including reading all the dialogue. I beat him free. And I didn't get hit once.
Oh, geez.
Didn't lose a single heart. So,
jeez. Okay. That's interesting to know. I wondered about it because so far I haven't been super pressed by anybody. So I wondered if it was going to ramp up, but okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's great. It's everything I want from a 2D style top down half and half 3D 2D kind of game. That Zelda brings. It's everything from that I want. It's cured the itch for a Zelda for a while. There is still so much I can go back and do. I love the layout. I love how the map looks when you've unlocked the whole map and you kind of look at it and then you take it back to like Link's Awakening and you take it to A Link to the Past and stuff like that, and how it all looks kind of the same. I have really enjoyed it. I would, if you are a Zelda fan, you are going to play it. I mean, Jesse, please stick with it because you will get there. It will help. It's always worth reading the notebooks on the certain echoes because they give you hints and tips about other things that they can do. So that if you ever get stuck, try everything. Try things that you wouldn't think would work. They might just work. It's one of those where you have to kind of like take the box, open the lid, throw the box away and be like, right, I'm so far outside the box, I don't think this is going to work. And it does. It's one of those. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. And it's nice to play as Zelda rather than be Link. And at one point, there is an element of them working together, which is kind of fun to do as well. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Sure.
And
yeah, I am not that far. I haven't even beat the second dungeon. I went Oasis way. And that's, yeah. And so I just got to the point to where I'm ready to go in because I think I've done all the side questy things and now I'm ready to open the rift for that second one. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think it's fun. I think it feels like Tears of the Kingdom in just top down. Like they've taken that creativity of Tears of the Kingdom and were like, how can we do this in a top down Zelda? And they figured out how to do it. I think that's cool. My son's playing it, which has been a joy to watch him do things. And I'll be like, okay. He's found the bat. I apparently missed the bat in the beginning. He's like, yeah, I beat everything with a bat. And I'm like, I don't even have a bat. So, must have missed that in the beginning because I remember fighting the bats. I just apparently didn't collect the echo. I don't know.
Yeah, I struggled throughout the whole of the volcano dungeon with like the updrafts that come from hot lava.
Okay.
If he has found the bat, think of it as a cuckoo.
Oh, okay.
That's all I can say. That's all I'm going to say. Is freaking helps massively. I didn't realize until I did a side quest with a Gar on, and I was like, I can use them. Hey, you. Because I'd already struggled to beat that dungeon, and I was done. I was like, okay, fair enough, cool. Now I know. I will use it that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching him play. And yeah, that's about all I can say about it. I can't wait to. I keep playing more, and so yeah. We should have called this the non-Xbox level or the non-Xbox episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to Xbox games now. I finished the Switch game until they bring out another Switch game, which I can't help play. But yeah, the last thing I will say about it is it's definitely aimed at the younger ones because there is a costume you can unlock where you dress up as a cat and then you can talk to all the cats in the game. And I have now took great pleasure in walking around every single village and talking to every single cat because they have some hilarious things to say.
That's funny. That's really good. So yeah, there you go. Anything else you're playing, Sean?
No, that's it. That's Echoes of Wisdom took over everything, and if I wasn't playing Echoes of Wisdom, I was playing Balatro.
There you go. I'm still playing Core Keeper every once in a while. Still loving that. I'm sure you guys want me to hear tons about that. So hey, so there you go. We talked about an Xbox game. There it is. I'm playing Core Keeper. There you go. Nobody's playing Shattered Space, but got our Core Keeper going on. So what more do you need?
It's one of those where if I was purely Xbox and I was the only console I owned in the house was an Xbox and I had no interest in Nintendo stuff, then I would have played Shattered Space.
Sure.
So, but unfortunately, it's one of them where you wait 2 or 3 years for a Zelda game to come out, so you just stuck to it.
Yeah. You share your heart with Xbox and Nintendo, and that's okay.
I try.
That's what we both do, actually. So there you go. So that's what we've been playing. Let's chat a little bit about games on Game Pass. We did get some new drops. You'll be getting new games as of tomorrow. You'll be getting 3 new games, actually. MLB The Show console version, now with Game Pass Standard. There you go. You know what it is. It's the baseball game. Major League Baseball for the show. Okay? Open Roads console also now with Game Pass Standard. Long Lost Family Secrets, hints of a hidden fortune, and miles to go before they sleep. Tess Devine's relationship with her mom has never been easy, but they're about to set out together on a journey into the past that they'll never forget. And also, Sifu out everywhere, October 2nd, Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard. Very cool. Sifu is a realistic third-person brawler with tight kung fu combat mechanics and cinematic martial arts action. Get in the shoes of Pek Mai. I don't know if I said that right. Disciple on a path to avenge the murder of your family with countless enemies and no allies. The sheer will to persevere and adapt will be key to unlocking the enigma of becoming Sifu. So Sifu is the only new one for everybody else, right? Like the other 2 are just new for console Game Pass Standard.
You are. I don't think you're going to get those on. You'll get them on Ultimate and PC, but they are locked at the Game Pass Standard. This is when I spoke about like how we're going to talk about things later on. This is where it's like they have started to release them with the different tiers allocated. So MLB The Show 24 and Open Roads is open to everybody currently, but it's also coming to the Game Pass Standard tier. So this is one of those where it's been out for a while on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, if it's available for PC Game Pass, but it's now been released to the Game Pass Standard crowd.
Rex agrees.
Rick's shadow watching because I make shadows. He goes, hi.
Yeah. So now we need to talk about not only where it drops, but what you can play it on. Sounds great. Why not get more confused?
It's just add a level, an extra level of confusion to everything. But no, that's. I'm glad that it's also added to the Xbox Wire website. Explains that really, really well. They give you the title, they give you the date, and they tell you to which level of subscription it's with.
They're probably tired of people emailing them, be like, "I have Game Pass Standard. Why can't I play this game?" And they're like, "That's because it's not on Game Pass Standard. Very sorry."
And on the dock, I've started to add if it's GPU, it's Game Pass Unlimited. If it's PC Game Pass, which is PCGP, it's likely to be on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, but could also be locked to PC only, depending on the style of game. So I'm yet to come across that, but when we get to that bridge, I will surely cross it, and I'll make sure that we will let you guys know as well.
Sean, I'm excited to hear if you're interested in one of these games. So you go. What are we playing next week?
So, coming out October 7th next week, and this is coming to everybody. So, across the board, PC Game Pass Ultimate, and Game Pass Standard. On October 7th is Mad Streets, which is the kind of game that makes you crack a smile, all while punching someone in the face. This sounds like something I'd like to do on a regular basis. It's a physics-based party game, meshed with a brawler that feels like an evolution to the genre, with a deeper system that allows skilled players to direct their blows for face-crunching knockout animations that wouldn't look out of place in an MA highlights. I'm playing this game.
This is not the one I was wondering about, but okay, that's good to know.
I'm going to play this game because it sounds absolutely hilarious.
It does.
I like physics-based games, and if they've then added a fighter brawler kind of thing to it, I want to see how that goes. Because I've enjoyed things like what's like the game where you had to deliver furniture or move furniture. Moving Out, was it? Moving Out?
Yeah, Moving Out. Yeah.
Yep, I enjoyed that. Do
you like Gang Beasts? My kids love that game.
I don't like Gang Beasts, but there's another one, and I can't remember the name of it that I've liked.
My kids love that game.
Yeah, but I like physics-based games. I think they're hilarious to play couch co-op and have a good laugh. But I also think they're funny to play in front of the kids because they get a right good laugh and a good crack out of watching you ragdoll around.
Mm-hmm. So. That's true, they do.
And then I'm assuming this game, which is coming out October 10th, again, to Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Standard, coming across them all. I think it's this game that you think I might play, which is Inscription, which is an inky black card-based odyssey that blends the deck-building roguelike, escape room-style puzzles, and psychological horror into blood-laced smoothie. So it's like Balatro, Silent Hill, and then shake it all up and add some kind of Mario aspect to it.
Yeah.
With the Mario rabbits kind of all laced in there. So dark is still the secrets inscribed upon the cards. I'm going to give this a go. Off the back of playing Balatro and being interested in a card-based roguelike. Plus, it's a psychological horror, so I'm expecting some kind of jump scares and stuff like that. I'd give this a go.
Yeah.
So there you go. Look at that. I have finished Zelda. I have finished Prince of the Persia. I have finished Riders Republic. I don't have anything else to play. The likelihood of me getting to Shattered Space sometime soon is very, very minimal because I'm saving that for if I need surgery. These two sound like ones to pick up and play next week while I have some time off again. So
sure. Yeah, sounds good. So I'm probably not playing
Mad
either
Streets
of these, so I'll let you report on them next week.
So yeah, Mad Streets is Monday next week, and Inscription is Thursday next week.
Sweet. Hey, did they do this backwards?
In what case?
What if you... Oh, no, those are just games from the Tokyo Game Show. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was like, wait,
kind
what?
of reminding you.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right.
Not enough people probably downloaded it. So like, hey, when we do a report of the games coming soon, remind people that there was a game show last week. So.
Yeah. Okay. I just scrolled down and I saw available now, and I was like, wait. Are they like flipping this all around on us? Okay. Never mind. Sorry. What's leaving now?
So just as a quick recap from last week, games that you can have now is All You Need Is Help, Legend of Mana, Trials of Mana, and Wheel of Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverve. That's all there. There is a couple of Game Pass Ultimate perks. Multiverse MVP Pack 3 is there. EA Sports FC 25 Welcome Pack is available. And if you're still playing it, which there is still a lot of people playing it, X-Defiant Combat Pack is also available, ready for Season 2's loadouts with 5 new weapon skins. So that's all there as well. And then we have more games leaving, some new games as well. So all the games we talked about last week have gone. They went September 30th. The new rollout of games for leaving the Game Pass subscription service on the October 15th is Dyson Sphere, Everspace 2, From Space, F1 Manager 2023, and Scorn.
Adios. No hard feelings over here.
Yeah.
The vacuum
Scorn was a
game, I wouldn't mind trying the vacuum game.
Dyson Sphere.
Couldn't help myself.
I have a Dyson Sphere. Scorn's a weird game. If you haven't played it yet and you haven't seen anybody play it, I'd go and try it, but I'd be very prepared to feel awkward and weird inside. It left me feeling very awkward and weird. Removing a guy's arm to stitch it to your arm to make it to a key to operate things. It's very weird. And I like Doom, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I will try that, but I appreciate the consideration, the request.
Yep. So, as we always say, if you want to play those games, you've got until October 15th. If you enjoy them out of any of those games, you've got until October 15th to buy them with 20% off to keep them in your library for future play.
That's right. That's right. There it is. We don't think we have any party chat, Sean. Do we have any party chat?
I know that I've seen.
Not
we
that
haven't
I've
had many
seen,
people chatting with us this evening.
Nope. We have had a couple people drop in. Thanks to Solomon McNeil and sorry, somebody else. I can't remember.
Oh, let me just 1 second. We had a guy reach out to me actually on Twitter.
Phoenix. Thanks to Solomon McNeil and Phoenix for stopping by. Stopping by.
So the boss at Enigma_57 was somebody that reached out to me on X. He said, "Hey, Sean Abbott, I enjoy the pod, so thought I'd finally give you a follow. Nice to hear more Brits and how our take differs from between myself and you, Mr. Nick, my good sir." Yep, he sang lots of praises and said he listens to a few Xbox gaming podcasts. All have an English host as well as an American host. And he enjoys the difference, not only showing the difference in accents, but also the difference on opinions, and probably if you listen to us talk about food, the difference to the amount of food that we have. But
That's true.
Thank you very much for following me on X. If you want to do that and you want to join the Big Boss, which is Enigma_57, you can do. You can follow me on X at Sean_Abbott, and you can follow my good friend Nick at Nick10Do, so Nick Tendo. They're our accounts. You can follow our main channel, which is going to give you all the inside news, not only on Xbox and Game Pass stuff, but also on Nintendo and PlayStation, as they continue to go through this amazing rebrand that our social media team and journalistic team are doing. Everything is at VGT Gaming News. If you have any questions, any suggestions, you can reach out to us. The new email is team, so that's team at vgt.gg. So that's team at vgt.gg. You can diary emails there. You can reach out to anybody.
GG.
Yeah, GG. You can reach out to anybody as part of the team. So social media, journalistic. If you've got any views and reviews on games or any opinions on games that you'd like to be shared out there in the open world, you can do. Direct your email to them. They do an awesome job of getting things out. We do have... two, I think a Baldur's Gate review has dropped recently.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Let me double check that. Diablo 4 review has dropped out, and a Baldur's Gate review have dropped out side by side as well. So two new reviews for you guys to go out and get your teeth sunk into. Yeah.
Good job, everybody.
This week,
team's really rocking it out.
As always. So a massive thank you to everybody that Nick has listed that has joined in. Thank you to Big Boss for reaching out on X and getting in touch and leaving some very nice feedback. Absolutely love it. Until next time, guys. GG.